Hey guys, today's movie review is going to be Batman the Killing Joke.
I want to talk.
So, Batman the Killing Joke. This was a Fathom Events thing that was going on. I'm very lucky and surprised that the island has a movie theater that supports Fathom Events. So Charlie, his wife, their daughter, and I, we all went to go see Batman the Killing Joke last night. The last time I saw an animated Batman film was Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and that was when I was a kid. So there's a little bit of backstory to what The Killing Joke actually is. It was written by Alan Moore in 1988. It is an attempt to give a character that's never had a defined backstory, like trying to prove a point from the character's perspective that one bad day can shatter your sanity and turn you into somebody that you completely weren't before.
All it takes is one bad day.
When I first read the story, I kind of had some flashbacks to Tim Burton's Batman with the chemical factory and some other stuff like that. The movie itself, and I want to open with this, did not even open on that scene. There's this whole prequel story about the relationship between Batman and Batgirl. I don't remember where I saw it or where I read it, but I do remember there was something of a romantic interest between Barbara Gordon and Bruce Wayne. This movie decided to take that to a new point that I'd never really seen before, as instead of something that was just hinted at. I'm kind of looking down at my Batman the Animated Series tapes. It didn't make me feel like they had betrayed the characters in any way in particular, just that it felt kind of needless in the movie. It kind of took the shine away from what we were all there for. We were there to see this origin story of the Joker and the Killing Joke, and instead we're given this opening story arc of Batman and Batgirl chasing down some bad guy. He's worried that the bad guys don't fear her, and you'll have to watch the movie or read it online. I'm not really going to get into spoilers for this. But yeah, it just felt really needless. I just didn't care for it that much. And then it just picked up right into the Killing Joke with them discovering the bodies that had been in the meat locker for a while, and the Joker had been escaped for a while. That part of the story was cool. That part was interesting, to say the least, to actually see this on the screen. And this was shot for shot, line for line, almost an exact verbatim of what was written in the comics. And for me, that part, while cool, seeing an almost true frame-to-frame adaptation of the comics, might be why I didn't appreciate the movie at the end as much as I really wanted to. Like I said earlier, the comic, the comic, which was a one-shot, came out in 1988, and the movie plays like that. The movie feels like that. It feels like it was an 80s attempt at a dark superhero film. And that limitation for me was very apparent in the dialogue that they exchanged back and forth, in the simplicity of a lot of things. It didn't come off as edgy and dark as you would want it to explain why a normal person would turn into somebody like the Joker. Especially when you have the new 52 reboot where the Joker cuts off his face in the first issue. Like, we're to a point now where it is so extreme that the story that's presented for me didn't feel overly believable. How you would go from basic failing stand-up comedian to the biggest arch nemesis in Batman's Rogues Gallery. It was cool with Mark Hamill being back in the character. There was even a featurette in the beginning where he talked about what it was like to get the role of the Joker and have that evolve into what it is and what we see it now. And even he said in the animated series you have this kind of kid thing, and then you do the video games, and the video games are darker and so that let me do this with the character, and now you have the Killing Joke in this. But the whole time it's like, yeah, but this is still something that was written nearly 30 years ago. This is 30-year-old dialogue, and while it is a good film, and if you're a fan, I would say go see it. It is very interesting and fun. Realize that it was written 30 years ago, and it feels like it. It was great. Animation was on point. Bruce Timm does an amazing job, as always, with art direction. The music was great. Kevin Conroy, best Batman voice, even though the dialogue's a little bit cheesy from time to time. It's a good film. There's one point that was really interesting, and I guess this might be a spoiler. I don't know. It's old canon, so it's not really a spoiler. So after the Killing Joke section ends, you see Barbara in her wheelchair. She rolls up, and at the end she gets off the phone with her dad, and the door slides open. She goes in, and she's in a room surrounded by computers, and she says time to get to work. That is her becoming the Oracle, which I'm not 100% sure if that exists anymore in DC. And I was reading through here on some of the things about the feminist viewpoint of what happened to Barbara. And I guess just as a man, I don't get it. To me, I see it as a plot device in the sense that I've always heard that as a parent, the worst thing that could happen to you is burying your own child. That is the darkest, most heartbreaking thing you could do. So as opposed to just killing her, the Joker tortures her and shows the pictures to Gordon to try to break his sanity. And I don't know how else you could try to break a father's sanity in any other way when his wife has already passed away. So I guess I kind of get it, and I realize that Alan Moore even said that he looks back on it now and says that it was kind of stupid to do that or needless to do that or whatever, but I get it. I kind of see where that would be a heart-wrenching thing for a parent to see and go through, and why that would make them snap their sanity. I mean, if you take a look at the Flashpoint paradox, the death of Bruce caused his father to become Batman and his mother to become the Joker. So the death of a kid, the tragic things that happen to your children, I can understand that, of the viewpoint of using it as a plot device to change a character. But the thing is that a lot of people are upset about on the internet with that whole thing happening is that she became this entirely new character, this entire new persona in the DC universe of the Oracle, which is an amazing character, and loved having that in the games as the supporting person to helping and assisting everything that Batman needs. Where, I mean, Barbara can't walk because she's paralyzed, so she's in a wheelchair, but she does something much more in an age where your body isn't just the only thing you can use to fight crime because there's so much of internet and database. I feel like her getting shot and paralyzed and becoming this internet tech person was actually very well played and very awesome to see that evolve with the times. So they're not going to show it again, probably, unless there's a huge demand for it, I guess. The 7:30 showing was cool. The movie was good. Not as awesome as I would have wanted it to be, but as I've said, it's pretty much just the comic. Yeah, if you're a Batman fan or you like the Joker, I'll definitely see it. It's a good flick. Probably going to do a review of Suicide Squad next week, depending upon when I can see it. Maybe do something else instead. I don't know. We'll see what's playing soon, but hope you guys have a good week. And sorry that this movie review was not quick whatsoever.